Who doesn't love a good comeback story? I thought, what's the greatest comeback story I could possibly give a Pokemon? How about all those poor Pokemon captured by Team Snag'em and turned into Shadow Mons? What if I could not only rescue them, but train them, befriend them, and take them all the way to becoming a champion? So I played Pokemon Colosseum for almost 35 hours to try and rescue all the Shadow Pokemon captured by Team Snag'em. If you've played this game, you know how much of a grind it can be. But as I'm working on completing a Generation 3 Pokedex, I needed Pokemon that were exclusive to this game. So I had to play through it to rescue and purify all the Shadow Pokemon and transfer them to my childhood copy of Pokemon Fire Red. But I wanted to take it a step further. I didn't just want to leave them sitting in a PC box. I wanted to give these incredible Pokemon a fair chance to truly shine in Generation 3. So I made a team of 6 of my favorite Generation 2 Pokemon to help me take on the Elite Four. Ampharos, Typhlosion, Espeon, Houndoom, Feraligatr, and Meganium. Grinding XP in Generation 3 is not easy. I found the best place to train was a small section of Kindle Road just north of One Island, where I can reset the Versus Seeker over and over while working on my karate skills. Everyone on this part of the island had teams of fighting Pokemon around level 55, which gave a lot of XP per battle, and I wanted to get my Pokemon at least to level 65, as most of the Elite Four this time around will have their Pokemon around level 70. So after over a week of grinding XP, here is the team, ready to take on the Elite Four. Looking ahead to Lorelei's team, Typhlosion and Ampharos should be able to cover most of her Water and Ice-type Pokemon. But Meganium has Grass-type moves for Piloswine, and Houndoom has Dark-type moves against Jinx. Next is Bruno, and his Fighting-type team will easily be taken down by Espeon. But he does have 2 Steelix. But we have plenty of options to take those out with Typhlosion, Meganium, or Feraligatr. Third up is Agatha, and all of her Pokemon are weak to either Psychic or Dark types, so Espeon and Houndoom should be able to sweep her team fairly easily. Fourth is the Dragon Trainer Lance. Feraligatr knows Ice Beam, and most of his Pokemon are 4 times weak to Ice moves. He does have a Kingdra, so we can swap into Ampharos to use Thunderbolt for that. Ampharos will also cover several of his Flying-type Mons. Last and certainly least is our rival. His team is really the only diverse team I'll have to face, but I think I still have it covered. Typhlosion can handle Heracross, Houndoom can take out Alakazam, Meganium or Feraligatr should be my best options against Tyranitar, Feraligatr can use Surf against Arcanine, Typhlosion or Houndoom can handle Exeggutor, and that just leaves his Blastoise, which I'll finish off with Ampharos. If all goes according to plan, well, it won't. I'm sure I'm going to have to audible somewhere. But I think this team of former Shadow Pokemon is capable of handling anything. I am truly excited for this. I loved taking on the Elite Four over and over as a kid. It was such a fun way to train new Pokemon and grind them up all the way to level 100. And I'm super excited to do it with this very unique team of Generation 2 Pokemon. I'll be honest, this battle with Lorelei went south fairly quickly. She started off with her lead Dugong, which of course was no problem for Ampharos' Thunderbolt. And thankfully, her tricky Pokemon Piloswine wasn't even that big of a problem for Meganium. Meganium had to tank a Blizzard, and then finish off Piloswine with a second Razor Leaf. But 3 Pokemon in, and trouble hit. Ampharos doesn't have a great speed stat. It got outsped and confused in the first turn, and hit itself in confusion not 1, not 2, but 3 turns in a row. Finally, Ampharos broke through the confusion and KO'd Cloyster with 1 Thunderbolt. And that's all the trouble I had with Lorelei. Is what I would have said if Typhlosion had hit the KO with 1 Flamethrower. Instead, he misses the KO, gets hit with Lovely Kiss, and falls asleep. But that's okay because we have Houndoom that should be able to come in and... Oh, you've got to be kidding me. A few turns later, and Houndoom finally gets the KO with Crunch. Finally, we're down to her last Pokemon, Lapras, the only Pokemon apparently that Ampharos can outspeed, and we get the KO with one Thunderbolt. Now, I'm not going for a Nuzlocke here, I'm not that good. So I do heal up between trainers, I just don't use any items during the battles. Anyways, next up is Bruno seeking revenge for all of his friends we beat up on Kindle Road. Oh, did I mention as a kid I thought it would be cool to name myself Cyclone? I also named my rival Twister. What an imagination I had, right? Well, here's to hoping the battle against Bruno goes smoother than the one against Lorelei. I'm feeling confident as Feraligatr should be able to KO Steelix with Surf, right? Of course not. That's okay, we'll just get the KO with Surf next time after he uses a full restore. I mean, we'll get the KO the turn after that, only delaying the inevitable. Next he sends out Hitmonlee, and finally things go according to plan. Espeon gets the KO with one Psychic. For his second Steelix, I swapped into Typhlosion, used Flamethrower, and took it out in one turn. With only 2 Pokemon left, I swapped back into Espeon to finish them both off with one Psychic apiece. After Bruno is my third opponent, Agatha, and thankfully this battle was my smoothest one. It was this battle against Agatha that Espeon started to make his running for MVP. He one-hit KO her Gengar, Crobat, and her second Gengar with one Psychic apiece. Then I swapped into Houndoom to one-hit KO her Misdreavus. Then I swapped back into Espeon to finish off her last Pokemon, Arbok, to win the battle without taking any damage. Next up, the Pokemon League champion. Well, not this Pokemon League champion, a different league. This battle against Lance showed me that I was not nearly as prepared for this Elite Four run as I thought I was. Lance opens up the battle with his Gyarados, which has Intimidate to lower Ampharos's attack stat. But it made no difference as Ampharos is still able to one-hit KO Gyarados with a Thunderbolt. Next up was his Aerodactyl, and even though Ampharos was able to one-shot it with a Thunderbolt, it was again outsped and took a lot of damage from Earthquake, which ended up putting me in a really bad position the rest of this battle. My plan for Lance was to use Ampharos against most of his team, but his first Dragonite is of course going to outspeed and take down Ampharos. Thankfully I had a backup plan in Feraligatr. Feraligatr gets outsped as well and takes a Dragon Claw. Then hits with Ice Beam but barely misses the KO. Lance of course uses a full restore, meaning that 2 more Ice Beams from Feraligatr will finish off his first Dragonite. But Feraligatr is not going to be any more help after this battle. So with my 2 best options against Dragonite out of the fight, I desperately send in Typhlosion, hoping that Brute Strength and a Stab Flamethrower will get the job done. It did not. Typhlosion gets taken out by Hyper Beam and I'm running out of options. So I ended up sending out my future MVP. Espeon is able to do the one thing no one else on my team can: outspeed. And it takes out Lance's second Dragonite with Psychic. I did try for some variety by sending out Meganium against his last Pokemon, but Razor Leaf did a disappointing amount of damage and even Solar Beam wasn't enough. Meganium went down easily to Ice Beam, which meant it was time for the MVP once again. And just like a true MVP, Espeon only needs one move to win us the battle. The battle against Lance wasn't the prettiest, but still, we've made it all the way through the Elite Four, and now it's time to prove that this team of former Shadow Pokemon was meant for more than being servants to an evil organization. They were meant to be champions. My rival starts off the battle with his Heracross, but it's no issue as Typhlosion is easily able to take it down with Flamethrower. Next up was Tyranitar, bringing about an annoying sandstorm. I was hoping Meganium could handle it, but I was wrong. Thankfully, Feraligatr was able to tank one Thunderbolt and then fire back with Hydro Pump to finish the job. Next was his Exeggutor, and even though it barely survived against a crunch from Houndoom, Tyranitar's Sandstorm worked against its own team and dealt the final blow to his Exeggutor. He then sends out his Ace Blastoise, out of desperation I'm sure because my team is dominating, and it makes no difference as Ampharos gets the KO with one Thunder. His Alakazam only has one move that can do any damage to Houndoom, and it's very little. So after a few turns, Houndoom finishes off Alakazam with Crunch. And just like that, we're down to his last Pokemon, Arcanine. The plan was to finish it off with Feraligatr, but of course it gets outsped and goes down to an overheat. So I send in Typhlosion because it knows the move Dig, thanks to it coming from Pokemon Colosseum. But it doesn't even do half damage. So I decide to fight fire with fire, and Typhlosion is just a better fire type, and Arcanine didn't stand a chance against its Flamethrower. And that's the story of how I rescued this team of Pokemon from the hands of an evil organization, opened their hearts to trusting people and trainers again, and helped make them strong enough to take down the champion, something that Team Snag'em would never have been able to do. It's so rewarding to see this Hall of Fame screen with these 6 Pokemon. Younger me would have been so happy to have had these Pokemon back then, but I'm thankful that I have the time and resources to accomplish this challenge now. I never tire of seeing new things in old Pokemon games, and there are still so many more goals I want to accomplish in these older games. I keep coming back to Pokemon, even after all these years. I'm excited for the future of my Pokemon journey. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck in your continued Pokemon journey.